Yes.
Where Hebal is, like on the way to Keyapuram, there is one Hennu Road.
Yes.
Yeah, so our temple is there. Have you visited the temple before?
No, I visited the one in Rajaji Nagar, the one in Dodkala Sandra.
Yeah.
The Vaikunta Hill, the recent one, yeah. I visited over there.
It's very nice. I hope we can see each other one day soon. So
yeah.
thank you, Sumana.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll begin today's session. Today we will cover chapter 3, but before we do chapter 3, we want to first look at chapter 2 and have some discussions pertaining to chapter 2. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Tadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruhu Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajevam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivasadi Gaurava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giram Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So, before we begin, let us start with a quick poll because I just wanted to know how many of you have actually read the Bhagavad Gita. So, can you see the poll? There is a question there. For those who are unfamiliar, if you are on your mobile, you can go to those 3 dots. And there should be an option for poll. I just was curious as to how many of you have read the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. 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 So a few of you have read all the chapters. A few of you have read a few chapters. A few of you have read a few slokas. And a few of you have not read the Bhagavad Gita at all. Okay, that is okay. I'll just keep the poll open while others join. Before we begin, it'll be good for me to know where you're joining us from. So in the chat of Zoom, just like you see others have put their information, you can put your name, the city from which you're joining, and also your phone number. If you're not comfortable putting your phone number publicly, you can, there is an option in Zoom where you can send the message directly to me. Yes. The Bhagavad Gita is not a very easy book to read. Yeah. It's difficult. I remember when the first time I tried to read the Bhagavad Gita, I put it down after the first 2-3 shlokas. I could not understand what was going on. So yesterday in chapter 2, we talked about how Krishna begins to tackle the questions, or rather, Arjuna's presentation of his opposition to fight. Krishna is going to tackle each of his objections in the second chapter. What was the single word summary for chapter 2? Does anybody remember? What's the single word summary?
Identity.
Identity, yes. Whose identity?
Arjuna as well as ours.
All of our identity. And what's our identity?
Krishna Das, Nitya Das of Krishna.
Krishna Das, okay. So you are giving the spiritual answer that we are all servants of Krishna. Very nice. So the chapter 2 is actually summarized as a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Yes, so our identity is that we are spirit souls. That's absolutely right. Thank you, because that is what we were talking about yesterday, right? That Krishna is teaching Arjuna all about Atma Jnana. Now, why is Atma Jnana necessary for anything at all? Well, that we will discover today. Because when we also discussed Atma Jnana, we were talking about two different types of duties that we have. And we also said that Dharma is not an easy topic for anybody to understand or comprehend. It is a pretty complicated subject matter. But anyway, in the end of chapter 1, Arjuna has sat down. He put his bow down. He said, I'm not going to fight. He's almost in tears. And then he tells Krishna, you know what? I'm having a crisis. You have to help me. I'm ready to listen to you. And what does Arjuna say? I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please guide me. So then the relationship changes from one of friendship to one of Guru and Shishya. So Arjuna was ready to give up everything. He really did not want to fight. The word Guru means heavy. The planet Jupiter is considered to be one of the heavier planets. So the word disciple also means that you are willing to be disciplined by your teacher. Hence the word disciple. It means you are not going to start crying if your guru tries to chastise you or correct you. And does Krishna chastise Arjuna in second chapter? What do you think? Does Krishna scold Arjuna? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, no? He scolds Arjuna. He says, what nonsense you're talking here. You're talking like you're a great philosopher, but you don't know anything. So guru means chastisement. Heavy means the guru comes down heavily on the disciple. Why do you think the guru does that? Why does the guru scold the disciple?
For the uddhara of Shishya.
For the
upliftment of Shishya, so
For-
that he will learn.
Very good. For the upliftment of Shishya. So Guru is always there for the upliftment of the Shishya. But what is he trying to do to the Shishya?
Give knowledge.
Give knowledge, okay. But why should he
Basically
scold?
to correct his wrongdoings, maybe.
To correct, okay. Valid points, very nice points, but I was looking for a slightly different answer. Why should any teacher scold any student?
For his mistake.
Huh?
To bring them on the right path.
His mistake.
Maybe
To
Krishna
bring about
wants
discipline. To bring
to
about
rectify
discipline.
his mistake.
To correct his mistake?
Yes, to correct his mistake.
To correct the mistake, to teach them.
Hello?
Yes.
Because Arjun was capable of fighting and then also he refused to fight.
Okay. So then that means the teacher is saying, hey, you are capable, don't give me excuses.
Yes.
Actually, what I was thinking about is the reason that the teacher disciplines the student is to bring them to the point of humility. I don't know anything. That should be the student's attitude. In front of the teacher, the student has to be humble. So the guru becomes heavy with the disciple if he thinks the disciple is exhibiting qualities or pride or even a false sense of compassion. If it is not appropriate, only remember what is the word that we looked at yesterday? Surrender, correct? Arjuna says, I am a soul surrendered unto you. So if you're surrendered means you're ready to be chastised. Chastised means to be punished or scolded. To put the disciple in the mood to say, okay, then you are ready to listen to me without any argument. Right? Hence, Arjuna was saying, I don't know what to do. Krishna, I'm surrendering to you. You please come. You please help me. I feel helpless. Helplessness means somebody has to be very stern with you if they feel you're being frivolous. So anyway, Arjuna says, I will not fight in Shloka 9 of chapter 2. And in Shloka 11, Krishna begins to speak the Bhagavad Gita. And the first thing he does is he criticizes Arjuna. So the first thing the teacher has done is criticize the student, scolded the student, to prepare the student to, if you're really surrendered, then you are ready to hear. So you don't hear Arjuna say, Krishna, why are you being so harsh with me? You're not being very fair. I already am telling you I am confused. On top of that, why are you criticizing me? So Arjuna does not talk back. So whatever Krishna says, he accepts. So from the 11th shloka to the 30th shloka, Krishna actually speaks. Then in between, Arjuna asks some questions. We did not cover those questions in the slides. Because the point of asking questions is that to seek clarification. As Krishna is beginning to speak the Bhagavad Gita, definitely you and I will also have doubts. Because sometimes we are not fully able to understand what is Krishna actually saying. What is this Swadharma? What is this Sanatana Dharma? What is Dharma actually? These things are not that easy for us to understand. Because we've not been taught that from a young age. We've been taught other types of knowledge, but we've not been taught Vedic scriptures from a young age. So what is Dharma? You could say it is righteousness, it is duty, it is responsibility. And we also discussed that our dharma will be different based on our varna and ashram. So the same rules don't apply to people in different varnas and people in different ashram. That is how complex dharma is. The same thing that I may do as a brahmana will not be accepted as a kshatriya. Now let us say a brahmana was telling Krishna, I refuse to fight. Do you think he would have been right? If
Yes,
a brahmana says to Krishna, I will not fight.
He's right.
Yes, Mataji.
Huh?
Yes, he would be right.
Correct.
He would be right. Why?
Because compassion, showing mercy, these features are a Brahmana's dharma.
These are all Brahmanical qualities.
Hare Krishna.
A Kshatriya should not run away from a fight. A Brahmana can refuse to fight, saying, it's not part of my duty. My duty is to cultivate Brahmanical qualities. A Kshatriya cannot say, I will run away from the battlefield simply because it's not comfortable for me.
Mataji, I have a
Yes.
question.
Please.
So, since we are discussing about the varnashrams, right? So what if a person from a Brahmin Varna decide to fight as a Kshatriya, or a Kshatriya decides to become a Brahmin? So
Yes.
what would happen actually? Won't the respective dharmas change? Isn't it the person's choice to what dharma he has to follow?
Very, very, very interesting question you asked. Can you wait till chapter 4?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll get to the answers that you asked. And in case we don't answer your question in chapter 4, just remind me. We will tackle this question then. But very important question that you asked, because that is going to be very important basis or foundation for us to understand where does this dharma arise from. Is our dharma attached to us from birth, or is it because of our duty, the kind of job that we do? Where does dharma come from? Krishna will talk about that in chapter 4. So let's wait till chapter 4. But ideally, what we mean by dharma is righteousness, your duty, your responsibility. Therefore, here in chapter 3, Krishna is going to very clearly say to us that none of us can run away from our duty and responsibility. But when Guru comes into your life, then what is the responsibility of the student? The student has to listen, learn, and apply. Remember, the way we ended yesterday's session was that Atma Jnana, Jnana means knowledge. Simply knowing that you are spirit soul is not sufficient, is what Krishna is saying. You have to practice it. So without applying that knowledge, knowledge is of not much use. You know, just like we said, you know, if you are a doctor, but you're not practicing medicine, can you really be called a doctor? Because you're out of touch with your profession. So therefore, Guru means the student is ready to listen, learn, and apply. Now, although Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I am a soul surrendered unto you, he actually doesn't surrender in chapter 2. The first element of surrender is just verbal. Okay, I'm helpless, I'm asking for help. Actual surrender happens only in chapter 11. When Arjuna says, I now recognize you as Bhagavan. Right? Sometimes we don't value the teacher immediately when they start teaching us or when they start imparting knowledge on us. It takes us a while to really begin to value the teacher and the teachings. Is that not true? Sometimes we don't value teachers right away. So Arjuna understands the concept of surrender only in chapter 11. But here in chapter 2, he's at least expressed the word saying, oh Krishna, I have surrendered to you. He's not yet surrendered because he will ask a lot of questions along the way. And a good student listens and asks questions. That is very, very important. So with that, we will come to chapter 3. And let me share my screen. So what is the title of chapter 3?
On the path of Gita.
What is the title?
Karma theory, no?
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga.
And what is the single word summary? What did you see in the poster? What was the single word summary?
It is duty.
Duty. Okay, what was the single word summary for the first chapter?
Lamentation.
Lamentation.
Despondency.
Despondency. Yes. Second chapter, what is the single word summary?
Identity.
Identity. And identity is that I am spirit soul. That's your first identity. Every other identity comes later. And today's single word summary is duty. So if your first
Hey,
ever,
Damodarendra.
if the first ever ID card that you wore,
What is the single word for chapter 1, ma'am? I couldn't hear properly.
lamentation.
Okay, thank you.
So, because in the second chapter and in the first chapter, Arjuna is saying, oh, I cannot kill them. It is impossible. I love them too much. They are my relatives. How can you expect me to be so cruel? Krishna actually says, you're talking all kinds of nonsense. Do you know you cannot kill? Krishna is telling Arjuna, your weapons cannot kill. What do you mean your weapons cannot kill? Kill whom? Your weapons cannot kill the soul, because the soul is eternal. So Krishna is saying, whatever weapons you have, your weapons are useless. So Krishna talks about the qualities of the soul in the second chapter, that the soul is imperishable, which means it does not die. The soul is indestructible. The soul is unborn. It is eternal. It is permanent. It has always existed. So thus Krishna is speaking about that your weapons are useless. Your weapons can kill the body. It cannot touch the soul. Therefore Krishna says, why are you worried? Because whoever you think you're killing, that soul will simply go and occupy a new body. And in that regard, Krishna is telling Arjuna, what is the best duty for you as a Kshatriya? We read one of the shlokas. In that Swadharma, Krishna says, because you are a Kshatriya, this kind of opportunity comes few and far between, the opportunity to fight and to establish dharma. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna in the second chapter to fight for the sake of fighting, because fighting is part of his duty and responsibility. So he is telling Arjuna, you forget about this happiness, your distress, whether it's right, whether it's wrong. All of this should not come into the picture at all. You should fight because it's your duty. And in that regard, Krishna actually, just like we talked about how Duryodhana taunts Dronacharya by pointing out that he had actually trained his own disciple by the name Drishtadyumna, who was his enemy's son, who was going to actually end up killing him, to instigate some anger. Similarly, Krishna also very cleverly tries to instigate some amount of anger in Arjuna by saying that people will speak ill of you as a Kshatriya if you choose to walk away from this battle. And don't you know, Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't you know, for a Kshatriya, dishonor is worse than death? Which means a Kshatriya does not like to be insulted. They'd rather die than be insulted. And Krishna is saying all kinds of insults will come your way if you walk away from this battlefield. So a Kshatriya will not be able to tolerate insults. And in this regard, there is a nice pastime with Yudhishthira and Arjuna and Karna. When Karna actually injures Yudhishthira and Yudhishthira leaves the battlefield to get medical attention, Arjuna gets worried because he has not seen Yudhishthira on the battlefield for a while. So he goes to check on how is Yudhishthira doing. And Yudhishthira was so happy to see him because Yudhishthira thought, Acha, so my brother is coming to tell me he has avenged my injury. He thought Arjuna was coming to tell him, I have killed who? What did Yudhishthir think when Arjuna came?
Karna?
He was very happy. He thought Arjuna was coming to tell him some very important news. And that important news was, I have killed Karna. And when Arjuna said, no, I was worried about you, about your physical well-being. I just came to check how you're doing. Yudhishthira got mad. He said, what kind of Kshatriya are you here? You please drop your Gandiva bow right now. It's an insult to call yourself a warrior. And Arjuna had taken a vow that anybody who insults his Gandiva bow, he has to kill them. So now he was in a dilemma. He had taken a vow. His own brother has insulted him. And now he has to kill him. And Krishna appears there. And Arjuna is confused again. He says, oh, what should I do? Because I've taken this vow. So Krishna says, for a Kshatriya, dishonor is as good as death. Therefore, you can just hurl insults at your older brother Yudhishthir. And through that, you have fulfilled your vow of killing Yudhishthira. So how did Arjuna actually kill Yudhishthira? By insulting him. So you see how dharma is so complex. So hence, Krishna tries to instigate Arjuna by reminding him, for a Kshatriya, dying on the battlefield is far superior than being accused of running away from the battlefield. So that is an important concept for us today, because today we're going to focus on duty. So today's chapter title is Karma Yoga. And in the first chapter, Arjuna is confused. In the second chapter, Krishna said, don't be confused. Don't get amnesia all of a sudden, where you've forgotten who you are. Don't you know you are the spirit soul? That's your first identity. That is actually our only identity, and it is our eternal identity. Then in the third chapter, Krishna has to instruct Arjuna that if you are a spirit soul occupying a human body, what is your duty? So my question to you before we begin is a simple question. We said dharma is about righteousness, duties, responsibilities. Do animals have dharma?
Yes. They
Yes.
follow.
For example?
For example, their eating habits maybe. A deer is supposed to eat a grass, eat grass.
Okay.
Yeah. And the lion is supposed to hunt the deer and eat. Lion will not eat, like the leftovers and something similar to that, maybe.
Okay. Nice. Would you say that is more of an instinct, or is that something that they had to learn and follow?
A bird builds a nest, ma'am.
Huh?
A bird building a nest for its
Yes.
dharma.
So duties and responsibilities come from where? Where does it come from? So where did the animals learn their duties and responsibilities?
Animals learn from their bodily compulsions.
Bodily compulsions. Okay. So can I say it's an instinct?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So what about human beings? Where do our duties and responsibilities come from?
As per yesterday's class, we have seen that human beings are quite complex. We have a Stula Deha and a Shuksha Deha. So a lion does not think about having lots of respect or money or celebrity status, but we human beings do like it. And such things do not enhance our physical capabilities, but it pleases our ego. So our duty and our sense of duty, all these things come from these two sides.
So
One
are
is the
we taught
physical
it?
aspect and
So my question is, so if we say for animals, you could say that it is their instinct that tells them, I have to eat grass. That's good for me. I shouldn't be killing an animal because that's not natural for me. Compared to human beings, where are human beings learning about their duties and responsibilities?
From our spiritual and social, from our parents, from our social,
parents. Very nice.
and also our spiritual guidance. I mean, when we start
parents,
reading,
culture, surrounding.
And
our
Experience
personal also, ma'am. Experience, personal.
okay, maybe from prior experience. That means experience meaning you make a mistake and then you correct it when you
Yes.
figure out something went wrong.
With wisdom and knowledge.
Okay. Yes, Shilpa.
I think from birth and from our surroundings, how we are growing or learning. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying it comes from our surroundings.
By our birth and what we are learned and growing year by year.
Okay.
I
All
would
right.
also say it is emotionally dependent.
Emotionally?
Yeah, the dharma, I mean, like the karma, what we do is emotionally maybe like dependent.
Okay. All right. Let us see where dharma actually arises from for us. For us, meaning the soul that is occupying a human body. Where do you derive your knowledge about duties and responsibilities? It comes from three places: Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. What you are taught? Yes. As someone rightly said, what are you taught as a young child? Your own parents are your first gurus. And then you have other sets of gurus who teach you what's right and wrong. Then you may access other pure souls who may guide you. And then, of course, there is always Shastra. So for a human being, the sense of duty and responsibility actually comes directly from Shastra, Guru, Krishna, and other sadhus. Okay. So we talked about that in this particular chapter, Krishna emphasizes duty. So that Atma Jnana has to be practiced. It cannot just remain as knowledge, because knowledge alone that you are spirit soul is not going to help you. And yesterday we ended the session by asking, then if Atma Jnana leads to happiness, why does the Atma suffer? And how do we get rid of the three kleshas is how we ended chapter 2. The three kleshas are Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidaivika. Sufferings that we cause for ourselves, suffering caused by other jivatmas, and sufferings caused by Mother Nature. So here as well, we are going to look at why do we experience suffering? It's because of our past karmic reactions. What are the different rungs of life? Who's an exemplary leader? What is the meaning of the word guru? We just discussed that. And what is the cause of our suffering? There must be some enemy that we are dealing with. So let us look at that. But before we begin, we took a sankalpa, right? That we will chant this mantra at least 3 times. And we will also take a sankalpa that we should attend all 18 sessions. So let's chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times loudly. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay. So let us look at chapter 3. How does chapter 3 begin? It begins with 2 questions. But before we go to the questions, I have a question for you. So let's go back to the poll. And I'm going to end this poll. Okay, let me come back again. Okay, do you see the new poll now? Yesterday we discussed a little bit about Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma or Nitya Dharma. And my question is, which is more important? Swadharma means duty towards yourself, your family, your society, your country. Sanatana Dharma or Nitya Dharma means duty towards the soul. Which is more important? Are both equally important? Or is one more important than the other? Because that's the basis for today's chapter. Okay. So the majority of you are saying both of them are equally important. Okay. That's fine. I will leave the poll open. Let us see what Krishna says. We are always going to go back to what Krishna said, because you and I may not always have the right answer. Even though logically we may think, oh, that seems to be the right answer. Sometimes that's not the right answer. So let us see how chapter 3 begins. Arjuna is telling Krishna, oh Janardana, oh Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work, we will come to the terminologies in just a second. And in the second shloka, Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I am thoroughly confused by what you're saying. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Equivocal means you seem to be talking out of both sides of your mouth. In other words, you seem to have contradicted yourself, Krishna, in chapter 2. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. So you see how the student has paid attention and now is clarifying. Whatever you said, my dear teacher, seems to be a little conflicting. I want you to clarify this for me. So why is Arjuna confused? So let us look at why is Arjuna confused. So in the second chapter, Krishna talked about Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma. Swadharma means your duties and responsibilities based on this physical body. You're a wife, you're a daughter, you're a husband, you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a judge, you're a doctor. You have so many duties and responsibilities simply based on your external bodily appearances and constitution. And then Krishna said, Nitya Dharma is for you to always be thinking of me, worshipping me. This is leads to eternal happiness. Remember, there were a few slides on, can we experience everlasting happiness in this life? Is it possible? And the answer is yes. And Krishna says, you can experience everlasting happiness even in this life if you focus on your Nitya Dharma. That means Krishna is saying, Nitya Dharma is more important than Swadharma. But Krishna is not saying Swadharma should be abandoned. Because if Krishna was saying Swadharma has to be abandoned, then he would have told Arjuna, oh, fantastic decision you made to quit the war. I love it. Because you are ready to express your love for me, I am perfectly happy with you abandoning your duty as a Kshatriya. Krishna never said that. Krishna said both duties have to be performed. But between the two duties, Nitya Dharma is very important because that is the foundation for everything else. So now you come and look at the question again. What has Krishna said? Nitya Dharma is more important than Swadharma. At least that is how Arjuna has understood what Krishna has said. So Arjuna is thinking, I'm trying to do my Nitya Dharma. I want to go to the forest and think of you only, Krishna. Because you yourself said do bhakti. Now I'm ready to do bhakti, but then you are asking me to fight. So, are you not giving me conflicting information? You told me that bhakti is very important, prioritize it. So, if I have to prioritize bhakti, how can I fight? Do you understand Arjuna's question? Very intelligent, no? Because Krishna has said bhakti is very important. But then second chapter ends with Krishna saying, get up and fight, stand up and fight, pick up your bow and arrow and fight. Hence Arjuna gets confused. He is saying, you seem to be giving me conflicting advice. If I want to focus on Nitya Dharma, why are you asking me to fight? That's Arjuna's question. How does Krishna respond to this intelligent question? Because Arjuna is saying, definitely now you have to tell me which is better. To answer the questions that Arjuna has asked, Krishna says, Yajñarthat karmanonyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. So now Krishna is going to clarify. It seems that Arjuna has misunderstood Krishna. Simply Krishna has emphasized Nitya Dharma, but Krishna also said get up and fight. So Krishna is saying here, all of us must perform our duty and responsibility. We don't have a choice. So how is Krishna explaining this to Arjuna? Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. So Krishna is saying, if you just run away into the forest and decide you want to become a sannyasi, and you give up all of your duties and responsibilities, then you will get karmic reactions for that. Now remember, Arjuna was worried, if I kill, I have to pay a price for killing. Krishna is saying you will pay a worse price if you do not fight and you do not kill. The repercussions, the karmic reactions will be much stronger because you have abandoned your duty. It is better to perform your duty than to abandon your duty, because performing your duty itself is a purification process, but abandoning your duty is very sinful. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, not killing is going to cause much greater karmic reactions for you than you killing soldiers on the battlefield. Because this is the dharma of a Kshatriya. Remember, the same rule doesn't apply to everybody. Because dharma changes as per your varna and ashram. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties. For whose satisfaction? For Vishnu's satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So essentially, Krishna is saying here, see, all of us have to work. We need shelter, we need food, we need to take care of our basic bodily requirements. So, because all of us have to work, we don't have a choice. Then you work for the pleasure of Vishnu. Because if Vishnu is satisfied with you performing your duties and responsibilities, now remember, in this verse, Krishna has not said you have to perform your duties and responsibilities perfectly. He has simply said you must perform your duties and responsibilities. So Krishna is saying, if you perform your duties and responsibilities to please Lord Vishnu, you will not suffer karmic reactions. That means if Arjuna fights for the pleasure of Vishnu, he may kill 64 crore soldiers on the battlefield. he will not incur any sinful reactions for that killing. But he will incur a lot of sinful reactions if he walks away from the battlefield. So essentially, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you thought Nitya Dharma was important only. No, Swadharma is also important. You do your Nitya Dharma, you prioritize your Nitya Dharma, but prioritizing Nitya Dharma does not equate to abandoning your Swadharma. You have to do both hand in hand, even though one is more important than the other. Simply because one is more important than the other, and there is a reason for that, does not mean that one should be abandoned. So that means Krishna is saying, yes, I asked you to fight because that only is good for you. But you fight keeping me in mind, that is better for you. Essentially, that is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. You don't have to worry about sinful reactions, Arjuna, because I myself am instructing you to fight. Therefore, there is going to be no sinful reactions, provided you fight as per my instructions. That means Krishna is saying bhakti does not mean you have to abandon your day-to-day responsibilities. You can perform bhakti and also do your day-to-day responsibilities very much. So bhakti doesn't mean running away from your family, going to a forest, giving up all of your possessions. That's not the definition of bhakti. Bhakti simply means expressing your love for Krishna. Therefore, simply looking at this one shloka, we can understand that if we live our lives according to the instructions of the Lord, then the Lord will nullify any sinful reactions that you may commit by error or it was an planned event. That means you can fight and kill as a Kshatriya for the pleasure of Vishnu and not worry about sinful reactions because there is no sin there. Why? Because you're doing your duty and responsibility. So, hence, developing the knowledge of the soul of Atma Jnana does not mean I'm going to go into the forest and focus only on my Atma, self-realization. It's not that I will run away and focus on my moksha now because I'm fed up of this life. It simply means everything goes hand in hand, even though following the instructions of Krishna and following the instructions of Guru and Shastra are topmost priority for us. And Krishna is going to give a very simple example here. Yajñashishta santah muchyante sarva kilvishaihi bhunjate te tvagham papa ye pachantyatma karanat. So Krishna is saying a small example of how you can avoid sin. Now in the previous shloka, Krishna said by fighting for the pleasure of Vishnu, you will incur no sins even if you may kill people on the battlefield. But what about for those who are not Kshatriyas? Is there a simpler example that we can relate to? So Krishna is saying, my devotees, what do? They are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Meaning, when we prepare our food items at home, Krishna is saying, how do my devotees make sure they don't incur sin when they are eating? Simply by offering it to me, they nullify the sin of what they eat. And then Krishna is saying, however, there are others who may be preparing their food for their own enjoyment. And when they prepare their food for their own enjoyment, then definitely they are eating sin. That means by eating, you will accumulate karmic reactions. So this is a very simple example Krishna has used of food. That means food must be offered to Krishna if you don't want to eat sin. If you don't want to accumulate sin by the process of eating, which is a very basic necessity for us, then we have to offer that to Krishna first. The minute we offer it to Krishna and Krishna has accepted, then there is no sin in whatever it is that you are consuming. Of course, there are rules and regulations behind this of sin. So now I have a question for you. So we looked at two examples. Krishna is saying, you fight for the pleasure of Vishnu. There is no sin if you kill people or injure people in the battle. For the rest of us, Krishna is giving a very nice example of offering food to him. And if you offer the food to him, it becomes prasadam. So that means if you honor prasadam, there is no sin in that food. So I have a question for you. So let us say there is a soldier and the government has declared war against its neighbor, and the soldier kills say many people from the other side. Will he be rewarded or will he be punished by his government?
Rewarded.
Rewarded.
Okay. So if that same soldier comes back home and he kills his neighbor, will he be rewarded or will he be punished?
Punished.
Huh?
He will be punished.
He will be punished. We are clear? If he kills another soldier on the battlefield, the enemy soldier on the battlefield, he will be rewarded. But if he kills his neighbor, he will be punished. Why? Both acts are killing only by a soldier. Why there is a difference in outcome?
One is duty and the other is
One is under the duty.
One is duty. That means his duty as a soldier is to fight. And in the process of fighting, yes, you will end up killing someone on the other side. So he gets rewarded when he performs his duty, and he gets punished when he
that's the wrong.
That is what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. You know, you do karma.
Yeah.
There are three types of karma. Karma, akarma, and vikarma.
Yes.
This is vikarma. Killing your neighbor is vikarma.
Okay. Very good.
And akarma is rewarded there. So obviously that is akarma he is doing.
Okay.
And karma is with your, expecting something. Probably I am correct or not, I don't know. But this is what I feel.
No, very nice. Thank you for sharing your viewpoints. I think your answer will come in tomorrow's.
No, it may be because the first is he was obeying the order of his higher ups.
Yes.
Yeah. He was obeying the orders of the higher ups, that's why he was rewarded.
Yes.
Others he has taken on his own and he was punished.
Perfect. So therefore, Krishna is saying, if you follow my orders, there's no punishment. If you choose not to follow my instructions, definitely there'll be karmic reactions. Punishment is coming. So just like a soldier is following the instructions of the government and therefore he is protected, Krishna is saying devotees follow the instructions of Krishna so that they are protected. Those who do not follow Krishna's instructions, they will be punished. And a simple example Krishna has given here is of just our day-to-day requirements of sustaining this physical body by eating food. And what is Krishna saying? What is the law when it comes to food? What is the law Krishna is establishing for us here?
Offer him first.
Offer him first. Bas. If we don't offer,
Sacrifice.
if we
We
don't
accumulate
offer, we are
we
violating
accumulate sin.
instruction. Correct? Okay. So 2 instructions Krishna has given. What you should do and what you should not do in the shloka. What you should do is you should offer the bhoga to him first. What you should not do is you should not eat without offering. If you eat without offering, Krishna is saying that is a sin. So now you understand what is dharma now for a human being. An animal does not have to offer anything to Krishna. An animal can eat whatever it chooses to eat. So where is this dharma of offering to Krishna coming from? Where is this dharma of offering something to Krishna coming from?
From the awareness, from the consciousness.
From our consciousness? It's coming from Krishna himself. Krishna is instructing us, this is what you should do.
Yeah, the awareness. Yeah.
Yes. So we said instructions will come from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So the instructions on what to do when you're honoring food every day is clearly given by Krishna. Here. Therefore, now we've understood the difference between following instructions and not following instructions. Following instructions protects us. Not following instructions can really land us in hot soup. So here, Krishna is saying, Evam pravartitam chakram nanu vartayati hayaha aghayurindriya ramaha mogham partha sajivati. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. So we can go back to the 2 examples. Killing is not an easy thing. It's not a comfortable thing. It may create all kinds of nightmares for you, feelings of guilt for you, for the rest of your life. So it's not that killing is just comes naturally. I'm talking about killing another human being on the battlefield. Similarly, it does not come naturally to us that we have to offer something to Krishna before we take it ourselves. It doesn't come naturally. So we have to be taught about these things. So Krishna is calling both of it a sacrifice. For a soldier to tolerate killing others is a great deal of austerity. For us, eating by offering it to Krishna first is also an austerity. Therefore, Krishna is saying in this particular shloka that someone, as a human being, if you do not follow this principle of sacrifice, then he's saying your life itself is being lived in vain. You're wasting your life, he's saying. And he's saying, if you do not follow the scriptures, you're simply leading a life of sin. So now we're going to come to the section. Somebody mentioned karma, karma, vikarma. But before we get to that, in tomorrow's session, let's first understand the types of human beings there are and what their areas of focus should be. So essentially, the conclusion of the earlier section is that devotees follow instructions of Krishna. When they follow the instructions of Krishna, there is no sinful reactions for them. Therefore, Arjuna has to follow the instruction of Krishna. What has been Krishna's instruction? In chapter 2 at the end, he tells Arjuna, get up and fight. If he fights, there is no sin. So now we're going to come to the 3 different types of people. Of course, there are many more categories. We're going to look broadly because this particular chapter is titled Karma Yoga, we're going to look at the 3 different categories. Now, it is not that these 3 categories are only in India. This whole Brahmanda and millions of Brahmandas, these are the 3 categories. So it's not exclusive to Bharatavarsha. So there are 3 categories of people. One is called the Karmis. Second is called the Karma Kandis. And the third is called the Karma Yogis. Who are these 3 people? So observe this picture. Is there any difference that you see in this picture?
No, madam, both the pictures are almost same. Animals and humans, both of them are gratifying their senses. Hence, both the pictures are same.
Very nice. So animals are eating, humans are eating. Animals sleep, humans also sleep. Animals defend their territory, humans defend their territory. Animals procreate, humans also procreate. So, what is the difference? The only difference is animals actually do not have dharma. But human beings do. So, karmis means those who are not following the Vedic instructions, are simply leading an animal life. Yes, they are also eating, they are also sleeping, they are also defending, they are also mating. So they are doing all of this without any regard to the concept of dharma. So Krishna is saying such people are not different than animals. So they are just like Pashu, because they are living a life without dharma being a central part of anything that they do. So let us say, for example, there is a traffic signal. The traffic signal is for whose benefit?
Our benefit,
Huh?
human beings.
Human beings, no?
Yes.
So in our country, cows may walk on the road, goats may walk on the road. Will the government punish the cow for disobeying the traffic signal?
No,
Why not?
it is made for human beings.
It is made for human beings. The traffic signal is established for the safety of the human being. Similarly, the scriptures have instructions for our own safety. It is meant for us to follow. So if animals violate the traffic signal, there is no karmic reaction for them. Of course, some of them may unfortunately die if they are not paying attention. But for the human beings, if we don't follow the government's rules and regulations, then we have to be ready to suffer the consequences of that. So those who do not follow the Lord's law, Krishna is saying, are simply leading an animal life. The only difference is they'll pay a heavy price. Because in a human body, they didn't take advantage of their human life, but they wasted it, leading an animal life. Essentially, no scriptures are followed by karmis. So this is the meaning of the word karmi. To you, they may look like ordinary human beings doing the same thing that you are also doing. But there is no concept of dharma, right or wrong. Yeah, they may be following some man's laws, but they're not following God's laws. And that's the problem. So the second category of people are called karma kandis. Acha, what is difference between the first picture and this picture? What is the difference?
In
These
this,
people are spiritually oriented, even a little, maybe.
Maybe they're a little spiritually oriented. Yes. What else?
Follow the scriptures.
Follow the Vedas.
Okay. What else?
Who follow the Vedas and
They follow the Vedas. Very nice. Anything else?
listen to God's instructions.
They listen to God's instructions. Very nice. Okay. Just to add a little twist. What's the difference between karma kandis and karma yogis? Okay, here you see they are following the scriptures. If they're supposed to do some samskaras, they're doing the samskaras. If they're supposed to do yajnas, they're doing the yajnas. So what's the difference in karma kandis and karma yogis?
Maybe in karma kandis, they may be doing it for their own sake or for their own happiness.
Ah,
Here it may be as per the Krishna's wish.
yeah.
Maybe.
You see such a subtle difference, no? Yes, Shiva Prabhu, you are absolutely right. The only difference between the karma kandis and the karma yogis, the karma kandis are saying, I will follow the traffic regulations because if I don't follow it, I'm going to get into trouble. I'd rather protect myself. Similarly here, the karma kandis may be doing a lot of samskaras, Garbhadana samskara, marriages, so many different samskaras we have. You want to get rid of doshas in your jataka, you have to do some samskaras. So the karma kandi is simply following the instructions of the Lord for their own benefit. Okay, since they're doing it for their own benefit, so what is the difference? What is the karma yogi doing? For whose benefit?
For the universal, for all, for themselves and for the society.
They're doing it for society. Okay.
No, they are following the
Divine,
instruction of the
spiritual.
Krishna. And the
They are
second thing
divine.
is, here the doer is Krishna. Here the doer is Krishna and we are the instruments. Just we are following the instruction of the Krishna. In the third, the karma yogis, we are connecting our consciousness with Krishna's consciousness, maybe with his instruction and whatever that.
Very nicely put. So the karma kandi is following all of Krishna's instructions, but for his own benefit. Whereas the karma yogi is following all of Krishna's instructions also. Is the karma yogi following Krishna's instructions or not?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but they are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. They are doing it because they want to please Krishna. The karma kandis are following Krishna's instructions to keep themselves safe and happy. Whereas the karma yogi is saying, I am going to get up every day, Mangala Arathi time, I will do my japa, I will sit down and read Bhagavad Gita for 10 minutes because Krishna has said if I read the Bhagavad Gita, I am worshipping him with my intelligence. Therefore, I'll do it to please Krishna. I am chanting to please Krishna. I am offering bhoga to the Lord every day to please Krishna. This is a yogi. Therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you fight because I am telling you to fight. You fight to please me. You don't worry about whether you're going to kill, whether you're going to be successful, whether you're going to fail. Krishna is saying none of that is in your hands. And as Prabhu very rightly said, here as a karma yogi, you simply become an instrument in Krishna's hands. So what does Krishna want you to be? A karmi, a karma kandi, or a karma yogi?
Karma yogis.
Huh?
Karma
Karma
yogis.
yogi.
Karma yogi.
Karma yogi.
Why? Why does Krishna want you to become a karma yogi? What is the reason?
To please God.
The entire, whatever, he is the only doer and we are the instrument. Every act is his act. We are only instrument.
Acha, so are we his puppets?
Not that way. We are following his words, his instruction, that's all. Whatever this one is, it's for our well-being or our mukti, whatever maybe.
Very
We are
good.
not.
That is what I was looking for. So the
Following
difference
the
between
righteous path, ma'am.
follow the righteous path.
Righteous path for the betterment of ourselves, for the universe, and for everyone.
So that means all of the rules and regulations that Krishna has created. You may think, why is Krishna saying, do it for me, do it for my pleasure? How is Krishna going to be benefiting? Krishna is not benefiting here. Who is benefiting? We are benefiting. Will a mother ever allow a child to go willingly and touch fire?
No.
So the mother will always try their best to protect the child. Krishna is doing the same thing with us. He's trying to protect us. How is he trying to protect us? He's saying, look, if you do everything for my pleasure, you are automatically protected by me. You don't have to do anything extra. So for the karma yogis, they not only follow what the Lord says, they do it to please the Lord. So the Lord said, offer bhoga to me every day. What will the karma yogi say? The karma yogi will say, every time I eat, I will offer before I honor that Krishna. They will not look at, is it convenient for me? Is it inconvenient for me? A karma yogi will not look at convenience and inconvenience. What are they only worried about? I am doing this to please my Lord. So there may be many difficulties for us to offer bhoga to the Lord or follow his instructions. But a karma yogi will say, Krishna has asked, I am going to do it because it will please him. A karma yogi will not say, I don't like this rule of Krishna's. It's too inconvenient for me. So for a karma yogi, there is no question of like or dislike. There is only a matter of, does this please Krishna? If it pleases Krishna, I will do it. So they don't have this conflict in their mind. Should I do this? Should I not do it? Will I benefit? Will I fail? Will I succeed? Will I fail? A karma yogi does not have this calculation. And therefore, a karma yogi is surrendered to Krishna because their only thought process is, if fighting pleases Krishna, who am I to challenge Krishna? So this is a yogi. A yogi is focused on what makes Krishna happy. A yogi is concerned not about his happiness, but about Krishna's happiness. But at the end, who is benefiting? You are benefiting. Because Krishna does not have any karmic reactions here. He is the Supreme Lord. He is only looking to see what is your bhava. Do you love him? If you love him, you will follow his instructions. So therefore, slowly, all of us should also come to the stage where we are chanting, where we are reading, where we are offering bhoga to the Lord. Slowly, day by day, we are also trying to learn how to please Krishna. So we also are looking to be karma yogis. Definitely we don't want to be karmis. And we want to do our best not to be karmakandis either. But then we need a leader to show us how to do this. Who's going to show us how to do this? All our life, nobody has taught us any of this. Maybe some things here and there your parents may have taught. So in this section, Krishna talks about who are great leaders, who are setting the path and you can follow their path. So in this 21st shloka, Krishna is saying, Yad yad acharate shreshtaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So Krishna is indirectly hinting to Arjuna, you are a great man. Imagine if you abandon your duty. Everybody will quote you as the example saying, Arjuna didn't do it, so why you are asking me to do it, Krishna? Arjuna abandoned his duty. Why? If he did it, why I should not do the same thing? Why I don't have the choice? Therefore, Krishna is warning Arjuna, because you are in a leadership role, all eyes are on you. Therefore, you have to set the standards. Because when you establish high standards, then the rest of the citizens will follow. So Krishna is actually talking about what it means to be a leader. A leader always has to set the example, has to set a very high bar. Then it acts as an encouragement for others to do the same thing. If leaders abandon their duties and responsibilities, what will happen to the citizens?
Mataji, he is the father of all of us.
Krishna is the father of all of us. Is that a question?
He is the Param in our soul, all the things.
So you're saying he's the leader?
Yeah, he is the great leader who gives us all the knowledge, what is correct, what is wrong, what we are not doing, not to do. He is the father who shows the correct way for a child.
Yes, certainly. Krishna shows us the right way. But ultimately, actually, Krishna is saying each of us is responsible to become a good role model for others. Many of us are parents here. We have to be the role models for our children. We cannot tell our child, go do that. They will not focus on what you're telling them. They are going to focus on what are you yourself doing. So the role model.
I think so. This is one of the management principle, probably.
Yeah. What is that saying?
In any organization, management has to be a role model for all the workers there.
So the parent cannot say, do as I say and not as I do. Correct?
Yeah.
So if the parent is watching 2 hours of TV every day, can they tell their child, you don't turn the TV on ever?
Yeah.
So the child is also very intelligent. The child is observing what is it that the parent is doing and not doing. And that's where they derive their values from. Therefore, Krishna is actually saying, we are all role models for the next generation. So if we don't follow scriptures, how will your child follow the scriptures?
We should try to follow the spirituals, Mataji. And we should show the people, youngsters also to show we should follow the spiritual thing that we have to do prasada, food, and produce to the God and eat.
Yes, very right. So if we are not offering bhoga at home,
now people are not understanding.
Yes, that's true. So all of us,
Bhagavad Gita book, which keeps
Okay. So essentially, we have to be the role models for our children. Then they have to be role models for their children, and so on and so forth. There is a reason we admire heroes, sports heroes, cinema heroes, scientists. Why do we quote unquote follow them? Because we want to be like them. We want to be successful like them. So unless the parents themselves are, irrespective of whatever age group they may be in, I'm talking about the parents. If the parents make an effort to study the scriptures, then it is easier for them to teach their children also.
We study the Bhagavad Gita, Mataji. We study Bhagavad Gita, and some people are misguiding the Bhagavad Gita book. We keep in home. The war will come in the house.
War will, yes, I've heard that too.
We should not. We should bring awareness about Bhagavad Gita by saying this is Gita is given from Krishna to Arjuna. First, Krishna is given to Surya Bhagavan. First, then he has given to Arjuna when he was in the confusion stage. Arjuna.
Correct. So let's look at the last few slides and then we can discuss if there are any questions. So that means we have role models as well. Even for us as parents, as adults, we are also seeking role models. And the role models are there in the form of acharyas. That is the purpose why acharyas are also sent by the Lord. So a leader should be a person who serves as an exemplary role model for our spiritual life. That means even for spiritual topics and spiritual matters, you need a leader, an acharya. We have so many of them. We have Prabhupada of ISKCON. We have Madhvacharya. We have Ramanujacharya. We have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's come as the Kali Yuga avatar of Krishna. We have Adi Shankaracharya, who's a role model. So we have so many role models who have written books, who have told us what is right and wrong. And they've made it so easy and sublime for us to follow. Because scriptures are not easy we don't have the time to delve into the depth of the scriptures. So that means we have to follow Acharya's instructions. So here, even if you are wanting to do the right thing and you want to follow scriptures, Arjuna is asking one more question here. He's saying, sometimes I want to do the right thing, but I end up doing the wrong thing. Why? So Arjuna's question is, Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya bala divani yojitaha. Arjuna is saying, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? So essentially, Arjuna is asking Krishna a very important question. Yes, I know what is right and what is wrong. I know what I am supposed to do to please you. But sometimes, in spite of myself trying to follow your instructions, I end up doing the wrong thing and accumulating sinful reactions. What is the reason for that? And Krishna responds by saying, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhe namiha vairinam. Here the Lord is saying, you asked a very nice question, actually. The reason why, in spite of trying your best, you end up doing the wrong thing is because of lust. Kama esha, krodha esha. It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, that is Rajoguna. and later transformed into wrath. Wrath means anger, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Devouring means it consumes you with sin. So Krishna is saying your own desires, born of Rajogun, cause you to deviate from scriptures. Therefore, your own desires are your enemy. So Arjuna is asking, what is the cause? Krishna is saying, your own desires. So that means there must be a way we can protect ourselves. So Krishna says, Tasmat tvam indriyanyadav niyamya bharatam sabha papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. In the very beginning means, what does that mean? In the very beginning. Which beginning?
The birth age. From the birth age.
From birth. Krishna is saying you should be trained. Okay, you can say from the age of 5.
Like Bhakta
Yes.
Prahlada.
Yes, like Bhakta Prahlad. You should be trained how to regulate everything. That means follow instructions. So how do you regulate? Okay,
by
so
chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantram.
Yes.
By 16 rounds.
Yes.
Each and every day. I chant every day 16 rounds.
Very nice. So let's look at, since Krishna has said your enemy is lust, then where is your enemy hiding? Your enemy is hiding in your own senses, in your mind, and in your intelligence, Krishna. So who is the enemy? Nobody outside you.
In ourselves.
Your enemy is you only. So Krishna is saying,
before there was three peoples, one Ravana, and Ramar and Rama Mahabharata. Something that it comes.
Okay. So let's look at these 3 enemies. How are you going to overcome these enemies? So now Krishna has said your enemies are your senses, are your mind, and your intelligence. This is the cause of your problem. So how do you deal with your senses? How do you target your senses? How do you target your mind? How do you target your intelligence? So since the enemy is within us, how do we defeat this enemy? So to control the senses, one must honor prasadam every day. Because the most difficult sense to control is your tongue. It wants to eat whatever it wants and it wants to speak whatever it wants. So to control these 2 aspects, Krishna has already suggested to us, you only have prasadam every day. So in order to have sense control, you must have prasadam. Okay, what about the mind? For the mind, that is why we've got this word called mantra. Something that can release your mind from its anxieties. So to control your mind, you need to know Nama Japa. Okay, what about your intelligence? How do you control your intelligence so it's not wandering in this direction or that direction? Krishna is saying, Acharyas are saying, you should daily read the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavad. Then in this way, your senses, mind, and intelligence, all 3 are controlled. Therefore, Krishna is concluding by saying, your enemy is yourself. So if you want to defeat the enemy within you, you have to do these 3 things. You have to learn how to regulate your senses. You have to learn how to regulate your mind. and you have to learn how to regulate your intelligence. So how does one regulate the senses? By having prasadam every day. How do you regulate the mind? By doing nama japa every day. How do you regulate the intelligence? By reading scriptures and hearing scriptures every day. So with that, we've understood what our duty is. So
Yes,
is the sense
100% I understood.
Okay, so very good. I'm happy to hear that. So to regulate the sense, mind, and intelligence, is that swadharma or nitya dharma? So this whole chapter was about duty.
Duty is first, then only spiritual first. Both we should not confuse. We have to do both spiritual and duty.
Very good. So my question is regulating your senses, mind, and intelligence, is it nitya dharma or swadharma? Which category it falls under?
Nitya dharma.
Nitya dharma. Even though you are doing it on the bodily platform, is your body physical or spiritual?
Physical.
What about your mind?
Mind can be
It's the God.
Spiritual.
If you are connected to God, it can be spiritual.
Very nice. If you're surrendered to God, then your mind, body, and intelligence, everything becomes spiritual.
If you think always Krishna, it is only Krishna.
Yes.
Without Krishna, nothing in the world.
So essentially, Krishna is saying, how can you please me? You can please me by regulating your senses, mind, and intelligence. Okay, thank you very much. I see some questions or comments in the Zoom chat. So let me just, if anyone has any questions, just raise your hand.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
You had given us a poll. So what is that answer? There were 4.
Acha, on Swadharma, Nitya Dharma?
Yes. Yeah.
The correct answer is Sanatana Dharma or Nitya Dharma is more important.
The two, both together, both are important.
Both are important in the sense that you should not abandon your Swadharma, but Nitya Dharma is more important. If you do your Nitya Dharma, your Swadharma is also taken care of.
Yes. Today's class was very profound, ma'am. Understood quite a lot.
Thank you very much. It's all coming from directly from Acharya. I am only repeating what I have learned. Okay, so I'll come to a comment or a question, I guess. We often hear the sayings like God helps only those who help themselves. Like say Lord Krishna, he gives us the intellect to actually understand his instructions. And later we can decide if we will want to follow his instructions or not. I personally feel karma comes from here. The ability to act on the instructions decides our karma. Yeah, you're right. We have to, I guess the right word in Sanskrit is viveka. What does that mean?
Understand which is right or which is wrong.
So what is that called? The discriminatory power. Buddhi is intelligence, correct? Once you've heard certain set of instructions, as Sumana Mataji is saying, the viveka, the ability to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong, or rather what is good for me and what is not good for me, and being able to follow it, triggers your entire karmic journey. So yes, in that sense, you're right. You have to use your discriminatory power.
Is it wisdom, ma'am?
Yes. What's the question?
Viveka means wisdom, like using.
Viveka means wisdom. Okay, I guess you could say that. it comes from experience though. The ability to discriminate between right and wrong, good and bad. Yeah, sometimes we make mistakes and then we have viveka. So sometimes we learn by making mistakes, isn't it? How many of us have learned by making mistakes?
Yes, we all do.
Is there anybody here who's learned by not making any mistakes? We make so many mistakes now and then we say, oh, I was wrong. Yeah. So sometimes we learn through experience. Sometimes we learn by looking at what others experience. And we want to avoid the pitfalls that others may be experiencing. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Rajo Gun means, is it our passion, that our confusion? Is it that state?
Yeah, Rajogun means passion. You're chasing something, you want something, you have these desires to achieve something. I want. This is coming from Rajogun.
So we have to overcome and come to the tamas or whatever the
Sattva
good.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct. So from Rajogun, you should come to Sattva. Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Very nice. Yes, thank you. Any other questions?
How can we learn these slokas, ma'am? They're very beautiful because Sanskrit we have not learned from our childhood.
It will come with a period of time. You can also learn. It's not that difficult.
Keep repeating many times.
Yes, yes. Practice. You have to just practice. That's all. Okay. Yes, Kajal, do you have a question?
Ma'am, do you teach Sanskrit or in any like? Do you have any YouTube channel, something where we can learn Sanskrit language?
I don't know Sanskrit at all, but somehow or the other, a few of us have been practicing how to recite the shlokas without, at least me, without knowing any Sanskrit. So yes, on my YouTube channel, there is shloka recitation on how to recite shlokas. If you can listen to that and learn.
And apart from Bhagavad Gita, what we can read from our scripture?
Yeah, so for Kali Yuga, Bhagavad Gita is like your elementary school. Then after you've read the Bhagavad Gita, now reading is reading, right? Reading doesn't necessarily mean you've understood everything, but at least the journey has started. And there is a book called Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And Bhagavatam is about the Lord and his
devotees.
His devotees, yes. So Bhagavatam is full of stories of the Lord and his devotees. And the various incarnations of the Lord. Yes, Shiva Prabhu.
Namaskaram, Mataji.
Yeah. What question did you have?
Yeah, the thing is the karma yogis, the concept of karma yogis.
Yes.
When I understand. See, it looks like Krishna says, you follow my instruction. That means you remain passive. Whatever I instruct, you just to do that. You are just instrument and you do not use your discriminative power. Whatever you say, this is right, this is wrong sort of thing. So you totally remain passive, receive whatever instruction from me and do all the things as per my instruction. So totally he want his resource, his the jivatmas to be remain passive fully.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
If that were the case, Arjuna would not have asked so many questions to clarify.
Okay.
Of course, we don't have the luxury of asking Krishna any doubts that we have directly, but we certainly do have the luxury of asking whom.
No, when you
clarify our
said,
doubts.
when you said we will not incur karmas when we we follow the instruction of Krishna, then the karmas may not be incurred.
Hmm.
Yeah, that means we are not using the sense of righteousness, or which is right and which is wrong, discriminative power. Totally.
No, you are, because you've decided whatever Krishna says is right. So haven't you used your discriminatory power? I think what
Okay.
I'm asking is, if I've understood the import of your question, you may not have asked this question, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of what you are trying to resolve here. Perhaps your question is this blind faith?
No, I'm not saying it's a total surrender. When I totally surrender,
yes,
where my intelligence need to work. Say now I follow all the instruction of his instruction, Krishna's instruction. Then why I need my intelligence? Okay, I have to remain passive. Anything, everything, whatever I have to do as per the instruction of Krishna. Then in that case, why I need my intelligence, or why I need a mind which determines or discriminates between right and wrong.
but human beings never operate without their intelligence.
Okay.
In the sense, if Krishna says, offer bhoga to me every day before you honor it, just because Krishna said it, we don't accept it blindly. Many of us may say, okay, I will only offer for breakfast. Krishna, you please help yourself for lunch and dinner. I'm going out, I'll eat because I'm too busy. So we are always using our intelligence, whether we want to follow Krishna's instructions or not, also requires discrimination power. In the sense, that is what I was saying. You're not doing it blindly. You understand that it benefits you. So that is discrimination, isn't it? When you have decided, Krishna has said, if I follow his instructions, it's only for my benefit. And how is it benefiting me? There is no sinful reactions that I incur. Isn't that intelligence?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is not passive. You have come to the point where you no longer care to question.
Okay.
In the sense, what is the single most, what can I call it? Feature of a young child? Do they not ask a lot of what and why questions?
It's very inquisitive.
The children are very inquisitive. Right? Yeah, but then after a certain age, do they ask any more questions of you? They don't know.
They started gaining knowledge.
They not only start gaining knowledge, they have some faith. So a devotee has faith in Krishna's instructions. So you don't challenge it or question it. Just because you don't challenge or question it doesn't mean you have set aside your intelligence and you become passive.
Okay. Now, what I thought, when we totally surrender, fully surrender and all.
Surrender is the word surrender itself suggests
there is no question exists. Everything remains answer for us. When we totally surrender, all the question disappears, fully disappears.
Right. That is what I'm saying. So surrender also means I'm peaceful. I don't need to challenge anything anymore.
Yeah.
So you've made a decision.
Okay. That is the decision. Okay.
So surrendering is also a decision. Of course, it comes naturally. It's not something you switch on one day. It happens over a period of time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So surrender is not a switch that you can just turn on. It's a journey. It's a process.
And also, Mataji, if I may add my point of view to this topic. I personally feel that, Lord Krishna gives us intelligence to choose surrender as well.
Absolutely.
Uh, so, and also, I have heard stories. Okay, so it may not be from, I may not be blabbering, but I have heard stories from other people as well. So they actually tell that, Krishna will actually tell Arjuna before he gives Bhagavad Gita that if he has that inquisitive nature, then only he'll be able to understand the Gita throughout. He should also be a disciple who can question his teacher. So the thing is just that, like Krishna, when he's speaking out these verses to Arjuna, and Sanjaya is speaking out what Krishna is telling to Dhritarashtra, what I have heard is that, that is the beauty, like there is always a choice what Krishna gives Arjuna. If you have to follow this, if you have to follow this, it is your decision. Then after some hearing out so many like instructions, then Arjuna decides that I will surrender to you. So this is what I have heard. So the ability to surrender, the faith you want to get in Krishna, Krishna will give it to you himself. So once that comes, maybe like you can give your intellect away or whatever it is, but Krishna never wants you to give your intellect away. That is what he tells Arjuna as well.
Yes.
And
in the
and
18th
also,
chapter, the Lord tells Arjuna, okay, Arjuna, you've asked me all these questions, right? I've answered all your questions. Now you take a call on what you want to do. So you're absolutely right. Krishna gives Arjuna the complete freedom to either accept what he has said up until now or completely reject it and do whatever he wants. But Krishna also cautions Arjuna in the 18th chapter. He says, I've given you a lot of information. You asked a lot of questions. So you use your discriminatory power. And the word that Krishna uses is contemplate before you make a decision. Contemplate. To which Arjuna says, Karishe vachanam tava. So Arjuna is saying, I don't need to contemplate anymore. I'm ready to follow your instructions. Whatever you want, Krishna, I will do. That is surrender. So you are right, Krishna does give all of us an option to accept him, to reject him. Even if you reject him, he doesn't stop giving you sunlight, he doesn't stop giving you water, he doesn't stop giving you air to breathe. What kind of Lord gives you the freedom also to reject him? Just think. Krishna does not get angry with you even if you reject him. He waits patiently till you figure things out. Yes. So Krishna is a very benevolent Lord. He's very merciful. He wants us to obey him willingly. He does not force you to obey him. You should be ready to obey him because you understand it's for your benefit. So that is how beautiful Krishna is. He's created you, but he does not anticipate that you'll be a blind puppet. So yes, Krishna does expect you to use your intelligence, or your discriminatory power. Yeah, nice questions. Yes, Sajini Mataji, right? Okay, any question you have?
No, ma'am. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna.
It's not your suggestion.
Okay, there is one question in the chat. I will just.
Mataji, before that, so since we were discussing about the scriptures, in Madhva philosophy, we have a scripture called as Sri Harikathamrita Sara.
And Madhva philosophy. Okay.
Yes. So that is basically, like easier version of the Bhagavatam and, like much more. So
Okay.
maybe if people are interested, they can read this. I just wanted to put it out. Yeah.
Sure. That's very nice. Thank you for sharing. Maybe you can put it in chat.
Yes.
It may help others locate the book. Is that
Yes. Sure.
Translated to English?
It is translated to English. It is available on YouTube as songs, verses, and so many things, just like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And this was written by Madhvacharya?
I am not so sure. I'm not much aware.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll just get to know more about it and put it on the chat when I get more information.
Sure. That'll be nice. We can always read what the acharyas say. Okay.
Yes.
So it's going to be 10:30. So we concluded with that shloka where, or rather, one of the shlokas that we looked at was that where Arjuna was asking, in spite of knowing what is right and wrong, sometimes we feel compelled to do something that is wrong. We do something that goes against our best interest. We end up hurting ourselves and harming ourselves. So the question that Arjuna was asking is, why do we do that? And the question that is being asked pertain to this particular shloka is the way to overcome this by keeping Krishna in the center and working, or anything else? Yes, definitely keeping Krishna in the center is very important. Although that is the section that we have not come to yet in the Bhagavad Gita. But to look at the basics, how we concluded the chapter was that to avoid this succumbing to your anger, to your lust, etc. Those three things we said. The enemy is hiding in three places, which is your senses, your mind, and intelligence. So we must focus our attention on addressing the senses, mind, and intelligence. So Krishna concludes by saying we have to regulate our senses, mind, and intelligence. And acharyas have given us a very simple and easy way to do that. So we simply have to follow that. And by following that, then you're automatically keeping Krishna in the center. So keeping Krishna in the center means also following the instructions of acharyas. Yeah. So we cannot say, I will only follow the instructions of Krishna because the acharyas are anyway repeating the instructions of Krishna. But in a way that is easy for us to consume, process, and apply. So we said, from a guru, what are the three things we have to do? From guru, we listen, we learn, and we apply. So if we are ready to do that, then life will be sublime. So Chinmay, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, very nice question. Thank you. Anything else? So tomorrow, we will talk about karma, akarma, and vikarma. And that may answer some questions. I think there was a little bit of confusion on what it is. But tomorrow, hopefully, you'll have clarity. All right, we'll pause here. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranta ki jai. Thank you very much, devotees. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.